We started discovering that banking today isn't really built for any type of business or individual, right? It's built for the general population. We realized that it didn't really serve the needs that we had as real estate investors directly, right? We needed to collect rent, and we were doing that somewhere else. We needed to organize our expenses and prepare for taxes. We were doing that in an Excel document. We needed to kind of assess how our property is performing. Like, what is our net operating income? What is our cash on cash return? That was all happening somewhere else. Why couldn't that all be on one platform?
You're listening to the Rich State of Mind Show, the podcast made to make you the total package in the entrepreneurial world and give you what we call a rich state of mind. If you are here looking to learn about real estate investing, marketing, elevating your business, and developing your mindset to get to the next level, then you are at the right place. Stay tuned and be sure to join our community on richstateofmind.com. Now here's your host, Anthony Ritchie.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Rich State of Mind. I'm talking to Mathias Kroder. He's the co-founder and CEO of Baselane. This is a fintech company empowering the next generation of independent real estate investors and landlords with a streamlined financial management tool in order to make sure that they're successful. I really like the way they have their business set up, their platform, very user-friendly. I've also trust this company because I'm doing a partnership with them as well. There's so much I trust their product. There's definitely an episode I want you guys to check out for those real estate investors looking to have systems set in place to manage their properties effectively and have a streamlined process. Definitely check this episode out. And I definitely want you to join Baselane as the tool that you use for your property management systems. As always, thank you for checking us out, listening to us, and supporting us. Please enjoy. Hey, Mathias, thank you so much for taking the time. We ready, kind of shooting information back and forth because I think this topic is very exciting and I think it's going to help a lot of people that's interested not only in real estate, but just their finances in general. So it seems like this conversation is going to cast a wide net, and I think it's going to attract a lot of people that could use your services. So if you could just please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Anthony, thank you so much for having us on. Really excited to share kind of the story of Baselane and kind of the product we're building. Baselane is a financial management and banking platform for investors of real estate and landlords. And essentially, we help manage and automate everything from banking to bookkeeping and then tax prep, rent collection, and kind of all the analytics so you can understand how your real estate portfolio is performing in real time. And now we're starting to build out a marketplace to kind of automate and be able to kind of get insurance and lending all online on our platform. We have gone and partnered with the bank, and so we offer native banking capabilities that have been built specifically with landlords and real estate investors in mind.
I think that's, like I said, man, I would say that was pretty awesome that was something that was thought of because what's the biggest thing that real estate investors always think about is finance, right? Cash, or obviously get it financed in some way, shape, or form with a hard money lender through a bank. And I like how you've kind of sewn everything together. What got you into this? Did you start off as a real estate investor and realize there was some holes that needed to be filled?
Yeah, so I have two other co-founders, Torben and Jad. We're all real estate investors, but Torben and I actually used to work at a company called the Boston Consulting Group. We helped advise some of the largest financial service companies in the United States. And through a lot of the work we did there, we started discovering that banking today isn't really built for any type of business or individual, right? It's built for the general population. But we realized that it didn't really serve the needs that we had as real estate investors directly, right? We needed to collect rent, and we were doing that somewhere else. We needed to organize our expenses and prepare for taxes. We were doing that in an Excel document. We needed to kind of assess how our property is performing. Like, what is our net operating income? What is our cash on cash return? That was all happening somewhere else. Why couldn't that all be on one platform that was built for me, right? we had multiple bank accounts, one for our operating account, one for security deposits, one for unit one, one for unit two. Why couldn't that be all on one platform? Why couldn't I do that all online, right? When I wanted to go get insurance, I had to call someone up on the phone, and I had to kind of go across, many, many different brokers to see which was the best price. And at the same time, I'm doing this all on the weekends, right? I'm not this is not my full-time job. So how do we actually automate a lot of this stuff so it's done for you, and at the same time, kind of helping investors actually make the best decisions, right? Imagine, you pull out your phone and you can see, your Charles Schwab account, your Robinhood account, whatever you're doing in trading stock. Why can't this physical investment also live in a digital world where I can actually go and see on a day-to-day how it's performing, how I can compare myself to other like landlords and see how I can optimize, whether that is my occupancy rate or my my expenses, or the way that I'm doing specific actions, right? So that's kind of how it got started. We were lucky enough to partner with some great investors that believed in our idea, and we got started.
You ever took any Lean Six Sigma or Scrum Master course? Because you've definitely optimized the word of streamline with everything that you said, and it's a dream come true for investors like me to be able to hear that this is all the services that they provide, and free. I know later on down the road you said that there's some premium services coming down the line, but this is pretty awesome. And I always compliment people when I think their website's pretty cool. I think your website's simple and clean and pretty easy to go through. I say that because I've always I went through myself trying to build my own website. It was painstaking. So whenever I see a decent website, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I try to learn from it. But anyways, Baselane, where did that came from? Baselane. What made you come up with the word Baselane?
Yeah, so Baselane is kind of the combination of two words. One is, home base, like your base, where you kind of want to be able to centralize everything, and then lane, right, where properties live, right? So it's the combination of home and a lane.
Is there any cap on how many properties I can put in my account?
No, you can add as many properties on the platform. You can add any type of property as well. We've gone and built our product as a starting point for residential property, but actually 20% of our customers today also have commercial property that they've started either collecting rent or managing expenses for on our platform. So it works with anything. Obviously, we haven't optimized this for someone that has 200 units in their portfolio. I think at some point we'd love to be able to make a more scalable pro version for some of those kind of landlords that don't want to be using a lot of the legacy software that exists for the institutional landlords. But right now, I think most of our customers have anywhere between kind of one or even in the process of buying their first property. And we have customers that have, upwards of 25, 30 properties on the platform as well.
So your rent collection allows the renters to pay electronically.
That is correct. So, you come onto the platform, and if you were to want to collect rent, you're going to, add a property, you're going to connect one of your external bank accounts, or you can open a Baselane bank account. And then you can set up rent collection to go either into your Baselane bank account or into any external bank account. As soon as you kind of set up all the the parameters of rent, including kind of the details of your tenant, they're going to receive an invite. There's a whole tenant platform as well. They can pay by a credit card, debit card, but through bank transfer. They have a fantastic platform where they can actually also just visualize all of the invoices that they have to pay. They can set up auto pay. In the future, we'll be offering services to your tenant as well to help them move in, to help them boost their credit score as they pay rent on time, helping them get insurance as well if you require that as an investor. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are coming. I think we're just getting started, but really excited about kind of where this journey is going.
And you've thought of everything, because that has been a hard thing, is trying to get your tenant to get insurance, property insurance, or renter's insurance, because that is a requirement for a lot of people. And it's, you want to get them in there as soon as possible. You don't want a $25 a month insurance to get in the way of you letting that person get in, because your rent's probably $1,000 or plus. So that's definitely great checks and balances. When it comes to bookkeeping, do the transactions automatically populate, or do I have to input them, or do they link or sync in with my account that I'm linked up to?
Yeah, so I would say the importing of transactions is completely automated. So obviously, if you're opening a Baselane bank account or multiple bank accounts, all those transactions feed directly into the bookkeeping tool. If you're connecting an external bank account or credit card, of course, all of those get populated automatically. We have some really cool tools where if you were to import a bank account or even open a Baselane bank account, you can actually say all transactions from this specific bank account or from this sub account that you create are tagged specifically to a property. So already any transaction is automated and actually tagged to a specific property. And at the same time, we're starting to actually automate some of the category tagging. So we've obviously built the bookkeeping tool across kind of the different expense categories and revenue categories that Schedule E has. So it's very quick to then transpose that to do taxes. And a lot of that we can actually start to automate. So once you start to tag specific pieces, we can then make that very simple for you. You can go and actually do multi-edit. So you can go and select all transactions that came in from a specific, vendor that you've spent, tag them all automatically to, advertising or to, some maintenance expense, and have that automated going forward. So
yeah, it works like a budget app.
Exactly. So imagine you have, a bookkeeping tool, or in this case, a budgeting app. Many times they call it like Mint or things like that.
True,
but really
like that,
built specifically for real estate investors and thinking about kind of the tax code that they have.
Yeah, that's great, because I think about the hours it takes me to keep track of all my receipts and everything that I did throughout the year to turn into my CPA. So this process I could see would be would be a godsend for a lot of people as well. I don't know. I'm old school. I do paper a lot, but I know that if something was automated or on a software that kind of calculates everything for me, it'd make my life a whole lot easier. Automation is key. We get into real estate investing to have passive income, to not create another job. But if we don't have systems, we will pretty much be working another job. And you've solved that. Yeah,
I think you're spot on with that. I mean, many investors are doing this, part-time and on the weekends looking for deals. And so how do we simplify that to help them save time? I think what we really want to do is give the time back to actually be an investor and focus on improving your returns versus having to do a lot of the busy work that we think, can be done in an automated way through software, right? And so that's the way we think about it. Even when you're looking to go assess, new deals, we built out a calculator and keep on optimizing it, but we want to be able to help you assess, hey, you have these 3 or 4 properties you're looking at. How can you actually compare across them? How can you save them onto the platform? Every investor has different kind of, benchmarks and different ratios that they look at when they look at different properties in neighborhoods that they know. How do we help them make those decisions in a very kind of scientific way, and also provide data so that they can actually make the best decisions when they go and purchase a property?
Are you referring to your rental property calculator?
Yeah, we built an initial version of that. We're launching a new version that will allow you to actually compare multiple properties together and actually bring in some external data as well. When you're looking at what is the potential rent for that property, if you're thinking about how much has to go into rehab, if you're buying kind of a home that needs a rehab and things like that.
Yeah, that's actually would be very helpful, because I know for a lot of people, finding MLS or market deals are really hard for the profit margins to make sense. So finding those off-market deals, those homes that need rehab, those are the ones where people can still make money and get a good cash on cash return. So that would be very helpful. Thank you. That's actually pretty cool that y'all have this. It's funny, as we're talking, man, you're selling it to me. I'm interested. I'm thinking like, what, maybe I need to get out of my bank and get with y'all, because this is everything that I could possibly need. And it's funny, part of the reason why I downsized on my real estate was also because it was less things to track. So I downsized how many houses I had and just put it all into one roof, pretty much, to kind of make my life a little easier. But this wouldn't discourage me from having to buying single family, another single family, because it's streamlined so well. Outside of trying to, I have to get a maintenance person to go to different places. The administrative side is pretty easy. So
yeah, I mean, the maintenance things is something that at some point we want to look at. I think right now we're focusing on the financial piece.
Yeah,
and you mentioned I'm going to switch my bank account. You don't necessarily need to switch your bank account. You can actually connect your existing bank account to our platform and, have that existing. And at the same time, you can go and open a Baselane bank account. So it's a very, I would say, open platform where you can have multiple bank accounts connected to it, plus open as many Baselane bank accounts as you want. And I think what I love is we just actually had a customer on our platform that has 13 properties. He's gone and opened up Baselane account for every single of the 13 properties. And then for each of those bank accounts, with a click of a button, you can actually open a sub account. So a few of those are triplexes. So he has a sub account for each unit. and then he has one sub account for all the security deposits in that triplex, and then he has another security deposits for what he calls his like savings account, where he puts in a percentage of his net operating income into that account on a monthly basis, and he has that as a buffer, and he saves it up for kind of the next deal that he's looking to do. And so like it's very flexible, and you can actually make it work specifically how you have your portfolio structured.
And I'm encouraged to put my money in your savings because you provide a high yield interest as well.
Yeah, we give back almost 100% of net interest margin back to the customer. Interest rates are going to keep going up, so we're looking to even build out hopefully more attractive products that provide even more yield to our customers. We also provide 1% cash back on a debit card, which is very uncommon. And we'll be launching soon kind of a virtual card product. So you'll be able to kind of launch virtual cards. If you have this, we were speaking to a customer today that he pays a specific vendor through credit card every single month. So you can just, with a click of a button, open up a new virtual card. Any transaction that comes from that virtual card, you can tag to a property and tag to a specific category already. So it's already categorized to a property and to an expense category on your bookkeeping ledger. So you make that all very automated.
That's all I make sure I understand. So the tenant will also have a Baselane account. That's how they're going to pay online.
That's correct. The tenant has an access to a separate product, and that product right now is focused on helping that tenant make payments. So they can make they'll visualize a list of all their invoices. It works on desktop, it works on mobile, so they can actually pay on the go, and they can pay through credit card, debit card, or bank transfer.
And then once they make their payment, the landlord gets a disbursement.
That's correct. The landlord receives that payment within 2 to 3 days.
And then the disbursement goes to the bank account that's linked or wherever they choose, or the Baselane bank account.
Exactly. So when you set up your rent collection, you can actually choose where you want the rent collection to go to. You choose the bank account, whether it's your Baselane bank account or whether it's an external bank account that you want to connect.
All right, so let's talk about, we talked about the bank account. Let's talk about the loans. Is that something you said that's coming in the future? Or you could provide that now?
We can provide that now. So we have an initial partnership that we have with a hard money lender based out of Florida. They have national coverage, but they have fantastic rates for what hard money provides. We are looking to partner with just a agency loan provider. So what banks offer, just traditional conforming loans from one of the agencies for anyone that's kind of below the cap. So that partnership will be coming live later this year.
For hard money lending?
Mm-hmm.
And with hard money lending, what is your minimum that you are willing to provide? Or is there like a percentage?
In terms of how much we lend out today?
Yes.
So I believe we don't have a minimum. I have to check specifically with our partner, but I can give you some details around like what we look for. So essentially, I think right now the minimum is 50K. We go up to roughly $2 million in loans, both across purchase, refinance, and cash outs. There's no income verification. I think you can borrow up to around 80% of LTV, both across turnkey, rehab, ground up construction projects. There is a minimum FICO of around 640, but some of those things have been changing. Okay.
And so when you said 80% LTV, was that for cash out refinance? Was that for a home equity line of credit?
That is both for cash outs and also for purchases and refi.
Okay, gotcha. That's great. That's great actually. And this is so cool because I have to literally talk to everything that we've covered so far. I probably have to talk to 6 different people to get the answers that I need. But here I can go to this. To Baselane and get everything that I need all in one spot. This is pretty cool. I'm looking at the debit card here. It's pretty cool. It's got the chip, Visa. Y'all really have thought this through. The
debit card. It works on Apple Pay, on Samsung Pay. It has tap functionality. So we've really gone out and built kind of a world-class product. Obviously we're going to go and keep improving kind of our marketplace. Right now, you can go in our product and get an instant quote for a hard money loan in our product, and at the same time, you can actually get an instant quote also on property insurance as well. I think it's best practice. Go in, get a quote at least once a year to see if there's a savings opportunity. You can come onto our product, and just with an address string and kind of answering 10 quick questions, you can get a firm quote within a minute.
And I'm assuming once let's say, create an account, I have a portal, or there's some documentation I have to upload for you to decide how much you're going to give me for the hard money loan.
That is correct. So we work with a partner that's called Landlord. So once you've actually gone and and provided the initial information, Landlord will then kind of be following up with you directly and asking you for specific information.
All right, and it also kind of makes, I'm all about when people are investing, especially when they're new. I like low barrier entry type situations to get people comfortable, because when somebody says private lender or hard money lender, right, and you find yourself kind of constantly stressed because you're like, I got to meet this deadline, I gotta make sure I stay on the contractors. But when you have like an entity that seems to have all your bases covered and provides support like you guys do, it makes that person feel a lot safer that this risk they're about to take, obviously they need to do their due diligence. At least I have somebody I can contact, somebody's going to work with me, maybe even kind of help me out along the way, because obviously the more money I make is going to make sure that y'all get paid as well. And then your parent, the parent company that you have partnered with as well.
Yeah, but I think we understand like the deadlines that a lot of investors have, right? Many times you're coming and buying a home. Sometimes there's a competitive process. There's specific deadlines. For example, on the insurance side, like many times you need kind of the certificate immediately. Within 3 minutes, you can have the PDF certificate of your new insurance policy received and sent to your lender, right? You no longer have to be waiting on the phone, calling some broker, hey, I haven't received it. In 3 minutes, you can actually go and close on property insurance. So it's extremely quick, and you'll find that it's very, very competitive pricing as well.
And you also, it's great, ground up construction as well, that y'all do that. That's pretty cool, because there's a lot of people buying land now, and so ground up construction, getting loans for that, that's awesome as well. My wife and I was actually looking into that, because there's like 3 plots of land. I'm not even gonna say the average one, nobody taking it, but there's like 3 plots of land there where we live, and it'd be perfect for like ground up construction. So people, I think you should definitely check out Baselane. This is pretty cool. I'm going to be playing around with this myself. I'm probably going to be talking to you offline, man, because I'm all about streamlining and all about making sure something's better. That's why when I got introduced to you and what you do, I was like, I definitely got to have Mathias. I want to make sure I say it right.
Yep, that's right.
I always want to definitely make sure I have you up here, because we don't get to hear this often. We have the Build Them, we have Avail.co, and they have great services, but I ain't gonna lie, man, you got it. I think you got it figured out.
Yeah, I mean, I think those products you mentioned, Avail, Buildium, both serve kind of different purpose, right? Buildium, is more around, serving maybe a little bit more of the larger kind of institutional landlord. Their cost is the monthly cost can be quite high. Avail is very focused on what's called tenant management, being able to kind of get a tenant, do a background check, do documentation. But there's this massive gap around managing all of your finances, right? And so how do we really make financial services be catered and built for this part of our investment process, like for our properties? And so that's what we really think about, right? Using a community bank or your Bank of America, they haven't gone through and thought, hey, like this person needs to collect rent, this person needs to go and actually manage the expenses that come into through this account. So we've really gone and kind of redesigned the way that banking works.
I think that you guys will end up saving a lot of landlords from getting out of the real estate investing game, because I think a lot of things that have hurt people is the financial portion. If they were better, they may be great at taking risk, identifying good properties, but maybe they're not the best at the financial portion, tracking that, maintaining that, making sure they're having a net cash flow. And I think you guys, with this product, you'll be able to save them from themselves pretty much, and keep people. Yeah.
And you know how it is to work with kind of the large legacy banks, right? You need a minimum, or else they're going to charge you a fee, right? With our bank account, there's no minimum deposit to kind of to use our bank account. There's no fee to use our bank account. So we want to make sure that we can keep things as lean as possible, so that you can really think about kind of building and operating your business and not having to be receiving small little fees from bank accounts that you weren't expecting.
Is that necessary? Because you're doing it without those fees, are big banks doing that because of the overhead that they have, or is it just the money they see?
Yeah, I mean, big banks have very different cost structures than we do, right? Big banks have, a legacy branch on multiple corners. They have a bunch of other operations. We've been lucky to partner with a bank in Virginia, and kind of, done everything digitally, right? We're obviously still sending, debit cards. We have a partnership with an ATM network that has over 50,000 ATMs across the United States. So you have free access to ATMs. You can deposit cash in them, but we don't have branches. So we save ourselves a lot of cost.
Yeah, I think that's the way of the future too. Everything's virtual, and I think I'm not going to say gone are the days, but the brick and mortar, needing a brick and mortar is becoming less and less essential.
Yeah, the way that people want to operate is, you can come onto our platform, you sign in, you can just start chatting away with our customer success team if you have any questions. Obviously, you can call us up as well, and we can support you.
What are your customer service hours?
Right now, our customer service hours are from 9 to 5 during the week. But as we start growing, we're going to be hiring more customer service representatives. We'll make it kind of a 24-hour, 7 days a week process.
Awesome. And you mentioned landlord insurance a few times, and I wanted to make sure we expand on that. What exactly is that, and why do you consider that important? Because it's not mentioned often, and most people, I think, they believe they're fine as if they have an LLC. So.
Yeah, so this is property insurance. So this is, your rental property insurance that you need almost every single time that you're getting a loan, right? So most lenders are going to be requiring that you have some sort of insurance on your property.
Okay, so that type of insurance. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. So I was thinking it was something else.
No,
that's definitely important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so cool. So y'all provide that. So if I'm in the process of trying to buy a property, as I'm setting that up with my loan officer, I don't know why I said it. Let me see here. As I'm trying to set it up with my loan officer, I would be also working with you guys to work with them.
Yeah. So essentially, as soon as you have like the property that you're going to close on, you're going to go out and get insurance. And so just with the address, you can get an instant quote. And then if you complete, 10 additional questions, you're going to get a firm quote for property insurance.
When it comes to like, do y'all do getting finances? You get VA loans, FHA loans. Do y'all recognize those type of loans, conventional loans?
Right now, we don't have any kind of agency loan provider yet on our platform. We just have kind of a hard money loan partnership, but we are planning on offering, traditional kind of conforming agency loans. So obviously we'll be offering all of that as well.
And then, because that would be, that's obviously that'd be really cool for people that are trying to buy their primary home. But there's a lot of landlords that they get it. Like I bought my first triplex, and that was my primary home, and I rented out the other two units.
Yeah. So actually, right now you can actually continue to get, agency loans until you hit the agency loan cap, right? And so obviously that's going to be the cheapest way to finance kind of any deal if you're under that cap. If you kind of go above that cap, then you have to go look for kind of alternative sources, right? Many times also, if you're kind of going and buying a property that you want to rehab, you're probably going to have to go get a rehab loan short term, and then you can refinance it kind of once you have a tenant inside the property.
So as far as the $2 million cap you're talking about, right?
Yeah, correct. That $2 million cap is with our current partner, which is a hard money lender.
But as long as I'm pretty much rinse and repeating, let's say I have a $50,000 one, $100,000, $200,000. As long as I'm kind of that $2 million kind of max once I finish the other project and pay you guys back.
That's correct. You'll be paying back our lender, which is INSEAD.
Yeah.
But that is correct. Yep.
Okay, so that's good then. I always like to ask people this because this was clearly something that you identified as a problem in the real estate investing world. What was the straw that broke the camel's back for you? It was like, all right, this needs to happen.
Yeah, I think there's been so much evolution in the financial technology world, right? I think if I had gone and said, I want to go build this, 5 years ago, all the infrastructure that sits behind us to power our bank, to power rent collection, to power, us being able to offer insurance and lending, all that stuff would have been in its infancy stages. And so for us, it was very clear that, banking today wasn't designed with real estate investors or landlords in mind. right? It was designed for a general population of business owners or for a general population of individuals. And so realizing that there was this massive opportunity to go and build something very specific for, the investor community, and knowing that there's all the infrastructure out there for us to do it, it was a no-brainer. And so I think the first step was realizing that, and then having conversations with some fantastic investors that also clearly saw the opportunity here. We went for it. And so we got started roughly around 2 years ago.
Wow.
We're a team of a little under 30 people, but looking to kind of probably double the team by end of year.
How do y'all market yourselves? How do y'all get yourselves out there outside of the podcast?
Yeah, we market many different ways. We market on kind of a bunch of paid channels, whether that is social media networks or through Google paid search. We also drive a lot of content across a bunch of different communities where kind of our customers are on. And so there's a lot of great ways to reach our future customers.
Yeah, because I really wish a long time ago I came across you guys. I think it would have saved me a lot of headaches, and I think for a lot of people, the same as well. I think when it comes to real estate investing, if anybody could not skip steps, but have some wisdom around them on what other people have went through, then we would have obviously been like, oh yeah. Because in our case, in real estate investing, we really feel the pinch. We feel the pinch like money wise. So that's not a lesson we want to continuously learn again and again and again, unless you just like losing money.
Yeah. No, I see it. The interesting thing is like every time that I speak to an investor, the first thing they always say is like, I was always told that you go find a mentor, someone that's going to help me, get started. And that was true for me. And I think, true for a lot of other real estate investors that I know. They've always gone and found someone that's going to help them either find deals or kind of help them figure out, a specific area that they invest in. But why can't we do that through technology, right? Actually, the amount of new landlords that, trying to buy property every year is growing every single year. Many times a younger generation coming to buy property. We want to be that mentor, that coach to help them, organize their finances the best way possible through software, and doing that and helping them. How do you file for your taxes? How do you organize your expenses? How do you organize your bank account? How do you, what's the best way to collect rent? How much you should charge for rent? How do you assess new deals? Let us help you save money on insurance. Let us help you save money on the way that you finance your property, right? Everything we do is focused around helping you save time, helping you save money, and make the best decisions possible, so you can have the best returns possible.
Yeah, because I can't imagine how many times where I've like, all right, I have to usually ask my real estate agent for like comps, and then I have to go to another software that I have to pay monthly to figure out what are good competitive rents. I could go through line by line on Trulia, maybe a Zillow, and look at the rents.
Yeah, but you're less confident in that data, right?
Yeah.
And you have to, many times you're like, is that real? Like you're going across. I've done it as well, right? You go look across like 5-6 different properties in that area, but you're not as confident in it.
And here's the thing, also too, I can't see what like people currently. Did that place actually rent out for $1,400, or is it probably going to go down in price a month from now because the landlord has no idea what their market, what's an appropriate number for their market. I think the pandemic was perfect, right? Because people had to always, a perfect example at least. I'm not saying perfect times, not at all, but as far as people had to lower their rent, they had to lower their rent. I've seen $50, $75, even $100, or like, hey, first month rent is $200 cheaper. And so having that competitive market analysis, I think, is also be really helpful as well. The closest I know of that is AirDNA. When it comes to Airbnb, you can see what your competitors have, what they rent their Airbnbs out on a daily basis, and then also you get recommendations on a day-to-day basis what your rent should be as well. So I think that's pretty cool. Prices are going up on real estate, but also there's opportunity out there to still get good deals. And softwares like this is what is going to, I think, give somebody an edge to be successful.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, I think the environment we live in now is definitely not the same as it's been for the last 2 years. There still are some opportunities. You just have to, maybe do a little bit more work. Obviously, rents have been increasing as well. So, it's things are moving in parallel. But of course, I mean, you want to be able to kind of have as much data as possible in today's market to really, make sure you double check and make the right decision before you, close on a property.
Where can people find your content?
Yeah, so just go to, baselane.com. That's BASELANE.com. If you want to open an account, it's free. You'll see kind of you'll see a button there automatically to open an account. You can also go to resources, and we actually have a blog that actually provides a lot of great information across leasing and rent collection, around bookkeeping, general just real estate investing tips, specific landlord insights about property management, about financing, legal, taxes, etc. So if you need any information as well, we also have a bunch of just guides to help you get started, and a bunch of pro tips. So all of that you can find it on baselane.com.
And just to give people a kind of a snapshot, they have blogs like how to keep maintenance costs low for DIY landlords, best places to invest in real estate in New Jersey. Now, I never heard of that, something like that before. So I'm very curious. What would be the best places to invest in New Jersey?
One of our team members is from New Jersey and has built out a quite successful portfolio in New Jersey, in the Philly area as well. So we're starting to build out specific content across some specific pockets of opportunities that we know about.
And for those, I was just talking about Airbnb, subleasing in real estate. How does it work? Those may be interested in arbitrage. So that's pretty cool. Do you think with my Airbnb, do you think it'd be a good fit for Baselane? Because I know that people pay through the Airbnb app.
That's correct. So we actually have a bunch of customers that have a mix of kind of long-term and also kind of short-term. What's interesting is that Airbnb solves the equation of kind of finding short-term tenants, right? You're going to get paid, but you still need to file your taxes, right? You still need to manage all of your expense management yourself. What I see a lot is a lot of Airbnb hosts are actually just commingling their property finances with their personal finances. So they haven't even gone and opened up a segregated bank account just so they have very clean financial picture of all the expenses and rental income that's coming from Airbnb. So I suggest open a Baselane account, have everything separate. Now you see just one bookkeeping ledger of all the expenses and all of the income that's coming in from Airbnb. So at the end of the tax season, you press a button to get a tax package, and you're good to go.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Again, you just proven again that you cast a wide net on a lot of issues and problems that people need to have solved when it comes to real estate investing. So I really appreciate that. And like I always like to ask everybody, what is your rich state of mind? What's your big why as to this is something you're very passionate about, and it sounds like you're going to be doing for a very long time. I don't see this ever not being needed. So yeah, what's your big why?
So I started my career working at an investment bank. And I had two fantastic years, like 2006 to 2007, and the financial crisis hit. And so I learned firsthand the importance of diversification. And I watched so many customers and kind of colleagues of mine that had all of their assets invested in the stock market. Many of those, if you had a lot of Morgan Stanley stock, which is the company that I worked for, it went from, I think it was like $40 down to like $5 in a matter of a couple months. And so real estate has been one of those resilient asset classes that has always been extremely stable, right? People always need a place to live. There may be a few years that there's markets that have less volume and things may but things always pick up, right? And it's extremely resilient. So I learned diversification is super important, and real estate investing is very important. However, real estate investing is hard, right? Access has not always been there for everyone. And so for us is how do we reduce that barrier so that everyone can invest in real estate, so that everyone can be earning passive income from owning, a single family home or a condo or a duplex, and getting started, right? Because I think once you get started, you realize, wow, I didn't need that much money to get started. Wasn't that much of an effort, right? So if we can reduce all the barriers around the financial management of owning real estate, that's massive. And then we'll start working on the other stuff too.
I think you said it perfectly, and that's why I was mentioned earlier about a lower barrier of entry for real estate investors. It's not, you don't have to be a millionaire already. You don't even have to make six figures to get started, and then you may have to be a little creative, maybe a little unconventional, but that's okay as long as you get started. And so I appreciate you mentioning that.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you don't always have to do it by yourself as well, right? Like you can go and find a friend, a brother, sister, colleague that wants to invest with you. Also helps you kind of divide, the burden of the investment and also of kind of the amount of time that you're spending on it, right? So I think it's always great to invest with people. We're going and building out soon kind of multi-user access on our product, so you can actually use our product as a collaborative tool with a co-investor, the property manager, with an accountant, to really simplify the way that you manage your finances.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been really cool, and it's actually been a breath of fresh air when it comes to me having a real estate investment conversation. Because, like I said, we never had one where initially I said property management software, but you corrected me, and I'm glad you did, because this is more of a finance, personal finance or business finance software that covers a wide net of everything that we really need, actually. So thank you so much for clarifying that and actually making it very digestible information.
It's definitely a novel product. It's something that hasn't existed. So thank you for helping us share what we're doing, because many times it takes a little bit to kind of say, well, there's something completely new out there, right?
Yeah. And I think if people will receive you very well. There was nothing about this where I'm like, is it too good to be true? Or because these are concepts that you just brought together. Everybody knows banking, people obviously have to deal with that. Property management, they have to deal with that. Loans, these are all things that we're very familiar with. It's just, tedious because I got to go talk to 7 different people.
Yeah, it's building a seamless experience, but also an automated one. So, when I think about, our offering of insurance, I don't think of it, I'm just going to be offering insurance. I think of it as a financial health rate monitor, where you can give me your address and I'm going to be checking in the background. And when I find something that is saving you money, I'm going to say, Anthony, I found a policy for your home that is much cheaper. Maybe it's time to switch, right? And so that's the way I think about things. I don't want to be pestering you with emails if I'm not there saving you money.
And obviously, hey, who couldn't love that, that type of relationship? Well, I appreciate your time. It's been an honor having you up here. I really can't wait for this episode to post. I think this is going to be very helpful to a lot of people listening to the audience as well. And then also too, I got to make sure I bring up a couple other things when we talk offline, man. But this is pretty cool. And like I said, thank you so much. I'm really grateful actually for this one.
No, thank you so much. We love support and all the help we can get to get the word out.
Thank you for sticking with us from the start of the episode. Please share our show with friends and family, visit our YouTube channel, and view more of our content on richstateofmind.com. See you next week on the Rich State of Mind Show.